All right, welcome to the Audit and Finance Committee meeting. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're going to forego the Pledge of Allegiance for the City Council meeting this evening. So we'll start with a roll call.
Ambrose is absent. Borba?
Here.
Rochester?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Are there any subsequent need items?
There are none.
Okay. So I hope that you've had an opportunity to review the agenda. So I just need a motion to approve the agenda as it's posted.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, motion by Borba, second by Rochester. Borba?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, we'll start with item number 1, and that is to make a motion to approve the minutes as they're listed.
I'll motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Motion by Borba, second by Rochester. Borba?
Yes.
Rochester?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item number 2 is an update from our finance director, and that is in regard to the 2025 quarter 1 sales tax report, section 115 combo trust update and general updates.
Okay, good evening committee, city staff and community. Anna Nicholas, your finance director for the city of Atwater. I have a few items to update you on this evening. The first is the sales tax for 2025, that's calendar year 2025 quarter 1 activity. It's been provided in the agenda packet. In addition, this information is uploaded to the city's website for all interested stakeholders and can be found at City of Atwater, Finance, City Sales and Use Tax, Quarterly Update Sales Tax Reports section of the website. This information provides the reader with a summary of change of the first quarter of calendar year 2025 California sales tax cash receipts, in addition to Merced County and the City of Atwater. The report indicates a 3.6% increase in cash receipts was experienced from the same quarter from the prior year for the City of Atwater. This report also provides the top 25 sales tax remitters for the City of Atwater in alphabetical order. After reviewing the sales tax activity and data in depth with our consultant, at this time the budget estimate for sales tax revenue does not warrant any adjustments, and we will have an opportunity to get another quarter's data prior to mid-year, at which time we will look at the forecast to see if any revisions are needed. For the general fund, Fund 0001, for purposes of 25-26 budget, we used a conservative to most likely hybrid approach to estimate sales tax revenue of $4.5 million for fiscal year 25-26. And with the most recent data received, we are still within the zone of our original estimate. That number does factor in the administration charges by the CDTFA and the county sharing agreement, which is 5% of our 1% of Bradley Burns, with a combined total just south of $300,000 that is shaved off of our 1% Bradley Burns. So the number that we budget is the net estimated revenue to the city. For the Public Safety Transaction and Use Tax Fund 0004, using the same budgetary approach, we estimated $5.2 million in sales tax revenue for the fiscal year. And with the most recent data, we are still within the zone of our original estimate. The public safety transactions and use tax will yield more revenue as we receive the full 1% as opposed to the general fund sales tax revenue. There's no cost sharing with the county, and it is a destination-based tax. So for example, City of Atwater residents that go purchase cars in Merced or other communities with car dealerships, they will pay this 1% add-on tax, and that revenue comes back to the City of Atwater. So the next best thing to that is having those car dealerships in our city limits, and then we get our Bradley Burns and our transaction, our add-on tax. So with that, I'm going to move on to item 2 unless there's any questions regarding sales tax update. Okay, so the next item I have for you is an update on the city's Section 115 trust. I do have a brief PowerPoint to accompany this. So I recently had an annual update with PARS, which stands for Public Agency Retirement Services, and they are the administrator for our OPEB and pension Section 115 trust account. OPEB stands for Other Post-Employment Benefits, and then pension, of course, is for the actual retirement portion of benefits. It's a
Do you need any help from Gisela?
Oh, no, I got it. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Yeah. It's a fairly comprehensive meeting, which includes investment, performance, and market discussion, but I've scaled down the presentation to share with you some information and updates on the plan. We have a relatively new plan for the city of Atwater, which makes it an exciting time to learn the mechanics of the plan and how the plan can be a benefit in future years as a budget stabilization tool. So it's a little small. I'm going to read you through the section that you need. So these are all the plans that PARS offers. The shaded gray area up top are the two plans that City of Atwater has. It's the Pension Rate Stabilization Program and the OPEB Trust Plan. Together they form the Section 115 Combo Trust. A little background on what a Section 115 trust is. Section 115 trusts are used by local governments to fund essential governmental functions, such as pension benefits and retiree health care, into an irrevocable trust, meaning once those are dedicated monies to these functions, they can't be directed to any other purpose. They're in an irrevocable trust. The PARS Trust received the first IRS private letter ruling in June 2015 to fund both OPEB and pension liabilities for a multiple employer trust. Any income derived from this trust is tax exempt. Government Code 53216.6 and 53620 govern the plan investments within the trust. Once contributions are placed into the PARS Trust, assets from the trust can be used for specific benefit purposes, including reimbursing the city for OPEB pay-as-you-go expenses, reimbursing the city for PERS contributions, paying OPEB expenses directly to the retiree, paying down specific CalPERS liabilities, and paying plan expenses such as the actuarial valuations and audits that are associated with GASB 68 and 75. So Section 115 Trust started rising in popularity not only because of growing liabilities, but also the risks that cities are facing today are different than they were 10 to 15 years ago. There's different complexities such as cybersecurity risks, global pandemics, different items that are causing complexities and challenges for local governments when it comes to financing and being able to plan for those events. And so Section 115 Trust started to become more popular as governments started looking at all the risks now that they're facing. And it's like, this is one way we can at least try to plan for these areas, which then allows you to plan with other monies in other ways. And I apologize, I didn't realize, they looked great on my monitor, but. So I'm gonna read you through the highlights. What you have on the left is the OPEB plan. This is our GASB, you'll hear us talk about GASB 75. We as a city are required to have a GASB 75 report done every year leading up to our annual financial audit. And what this does is it shows you the liabilities that the city has for all OPEB, which includes other benefits outside of the regular pension plan. On the right is GASB 68, which is all of our pension liabilities. So what this is showing you inside each of the the pies there is at a dollar amount of $616,000, and that's showing the total amount that is funded in each of these plans. A summary of agencies, the agency's OPEB plan. We are a discretionary plan, which means the administrator has the ability to make transactions based on our behalf. They don't have to wait for us to say, no, don't invest in that portfolio. The plan started July 1st, 2018. The plan administrator is the city manager. We have a current investment strategy that is balanced in a strategic blend strategy. The first contribution was $100,000. That was in June 2020. I'm going to read all of these because I can see you're not going to be able to see it. So I'm just going to read the bullet points of what you need. So the initial contribution was $100,000. Additional contributions since the inception of the plan have been $400,000. Net investment earnings from the time the plan was first funded have been $116,660, which leaves an account balance of $616,660, both in the OPEB, and then the pension has the same amount. So each one has been funded identically. This just shows you, as the committee, that you can see the transactions, and then there's a column in there that has 0 under the disbursements, so that you can see that no disbursements have been taken from the plan. This slide shows the actuarial results of the last measurement date for OPEB. The main item that you would want to take out of here is, at this time, based on all the actuarial data and the payroll data and the number of entitled employees to this particular benefit, we're looking at a $21 million total OPEB liability. And that takes into account the full plan. So say if you have somebody that can expect to receive that benefit for the duration of their lifespan, which is an actuarial data measurement, then that's factored in. So this is really a forward-looking thing. Also on this slide is what the annual cost. So the service cost is $1.2 million. So what this says is the actuarial says, okay, based on all the employees that are actively using this benefit, and based on all the other actuarial measurements that they use, you're looking at a service cost that could cost the city $1.28 million a year to provide this benefit for the other post-employment benefits. Currently, though, our annual benefit payments, we're on a pay-as-you-go, we put it in the annual budget, is just north of $600,000. So the importance of that is just to be aware of what we could be experiencing, even though historically we're experiencing a little less. But if you have mass retirements and all of a sudden people are tapping into their OPEB, our liability is going to go up. And I'll just flip through a couple of these that you can't see. It's pretty much the same data, but in a different form. Same, pretty much identical data for the pension for the GASB 68 side, because all the numbers are the same. It's a discretionary trust that was started July 1st, 2018. City manager's the plan administrator. It's a pooled account in a strategic blend strategy, and the account balance is the $616,660. Showing that no disbursements have been taken out of the plan. And then this is kind of like the total net liability for OPEB. This is the pension total net liability, which you see on the CalPERS valuation reports. We're looking at the valuation as of June 30th, 2023. We had $97.5 million actuarial liability. 30.8 million of that is the unfunded liability. And then what also was on this slide that the actuarial put together was the employer contribution amount for fiscal year 24-25 came in at about 3.35 million, but they projected out at fiscal year 30-31, which is not too far down the road. When you think about it, the employer contribution amount is looking at 4.2 million. And so it's data to be aware of how that liability grows over time. And so, just to recap some of this, one of the purposes of the Section 115 trust for, and one of the benefits that can be for Atwater is growing the trust so that there's some money that can be used to pay retiree health care benefits and any maybe additional payments that want to be paid on the unfunded accrued liability with CalPERS. Some local agencies will pay an additional discretionary payment. You'll hear the term ADP directly to CalPERS to pay down that liability. But some local agencies prefer to put it in the trust so that they can maintain control over it. They have more control over, because once you pay CalPERS, it's like putting an extra amount in your savings account, but it's opposite of that because you're paying down a debt, paying off your credit card, paying off, right? You don't get it back. Whereas if you put it in the trust and you're earning you're getting investment earnings, you have a little bit more discretion on how much you want to pay CalPERS, and then you can also use it for OPEB, depending on which side of the trust that you put it in. So that is pretty much just wanted to update you on the status of the trust. We do that annual update with PARS. We do currently in the 24-25 and also in the 25-26 budget, we have budgeted for $50,000 to be contributed to each side. So $100,000 will be going towards OPEB and pension. But that is also something that we can discuss going forward too on changing that amount and looking at changing the funding of that. And I'll move on unless there's any other questions. And I apologize about the slides, but if you want a copy, reach out to me and I can get you a good copy.
I would like a copy of that,
Yeah.
please. Thank you. This has been very helpful.
Sure, I'm not getting anything on that. Okay. Okay, so then last, just a few general updates, general audit and finance updates. The city is in the process of reviewing and selecting a company to provide external debt collection services, so that's moving forward. And then once we have a company selected, we'll be bringing the agreement forward to City Council at a future meeting for review and approval. We continue to struggle with delayed audits, but there were 2 measures that were implemented this past year that I think will play a critical role in addressing this deficiency in some areas on a go-forward basis. One was the addition of a second accountant, which helps us come up to a more industry staffing average. And the second was the revision of the strategic plan item 1.4, which speaks to providing transparency in all activities related to municipal finance. We added 1.4A, which provides resources to complete annual financial audits and required financial reports on time. So that shows how the city and the governing body are committed to timely reporting by directing resources such as staffing or contracted professional services to the completion of the annual audits and all required financial reports. In terms of the finance staff, we've got our back office is working on year end in 2 fiscal years, and our front office is staying very busy with some customer service and utility billing and other transactions that occur at the counter. So a very busy time of year for city finance. And then lastly, if there are any specific topics within the scope of the committee or areas of the strategic plan that align with the scope of the committee that you would like more information or research done on, such as like the Section 115 trust, let me know. I can. I know municipal finance is a very vast and deep area, but there's also a lot of information out there to obtain and for us to learn together. So if there's anything that comes up, I'd like to know so that I can prepare different topics to bring forward to the committee at future meetings.
All right, thank you very much.
Completes my items.
Thank you so much for that, Director Nichols. I appreciate it, and thank you for the information regarding the trust for 115. So we'll now open the general comments from the public.
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record. However, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
So seeing as we only have our city clerk here, I'm assuming he would not like to make any comments. All right, we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time. And I will now defer to committee member matters.
I wanted to thank you, Anna. I think you and your team, our team, are fantastic. You're doing a great job. Calista, you did a fantastic job stepping in for Danny this week. So you're a natural. Good job. Off the topic of finance, I think my last week was my first time visiting the farmers market. I think that is pretty awesome. I love seeing it. I think it's going to continue to grow. I know my wife has a booth there, and Atwater High School had a booth, and they sold out completely of all their flowers, so that was pretty cool. So I'm just excited to see that grow for our community, and just excited to be a part of City of Atwater right now.
I would echo that. I feel like the farmers market is the epitome of what community should be. And I loved seeing the Atwater High School FFA students there. I thought that was amazing when they opened up the van and that the floral smell just came and it overwhelmed all of us. It was wonderful. And so, yeah, I would just echo your sentiments. It's an amazing event, and I'm very thankful that we have it. Good. I can't recall if our city manager makes any comments for this particular meeting.
Not for this one, no.
Okay.
No, thank you.
So with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. It is 5:32.